Richard Ramírez, the shadow of the night. Imagine you are asleep in your home. Suddenly a noise at the window, a shadow slips inside without you noticing. This man is not after money, not after jewels. He is after something much darker. His name, Richard Ramírez, the Night Stalker. During the summer of 1985, he turned California into a place of fear. He entered random houses, attacked without mercy. Entire families were left trapped in their worst nightmare. But the most disturbing part was not what he did. It was how he enjoyed the terror he spread. This is the story of a real-life monster, a man who walked among the shadows, and who, to this day, still provokes chills at the sound of his name. 2:45 a.m., a city asleep. But between darkened lights and locked windows, someone watches. Someone walking silently, with worn shoes, decayed teeth, a lost gaze. That someone was Richard Ramírez, a name history would remember with horror, a man who turned nights into a living nightmare. During the summer of 1985, Los Angeles lived through the worst nightmare in its history. An invisible hunter entered homes at random, choosing victims without logic, without mercy. His name, Richard Ramírez, the Night Stalker. And this is his story. Childhood Richard was born in El Paso, Texas in 1960, a child with a troubled destiny. From a young age, he suffered mistreatment and trauma. One of his biggest influences was his cousin Miguel, a war veteran who exposed him to images no child should ever see. That cousin became his mentor in the worst possible way. And one day, Richard witnessed a traumatic event that shattered his mind. He was only 13 years old, and from that moment, his transformation began. The transformation. Richard turned to drugs, marijuana, LSD. He immersed himself in dark practices, obsessed with the power of the night. He stopped being a shy boy and became a predator in training. It began with small thefts, then escalated. In 1984, Los Angeles awoke to shocking news. A woman had been found lifeless in her home, the start of a wave of crimes that seemed endless. The hunter's method. What made Richard terrifying was not only what he did, but how he did it. He entered homes at random. There was no pattern. Elders, women, men, even children. His goal was simple: to spread absolute terror. Opening windows, forcing doors, moving silently through dark hallways. He always left a mark. Cruelty, sadistic rituals, nightmares made real. Survivors described him with the same words: the devil. The cat and mouse game police were baffled. Who was this man? No clear fingerprints, no strong witnesses, no pattern. Communities lived in paranoia. New locks, bars on windows, neighbors patrolling streets. Fear was so great that gun stores ran out of stock. Los Angeles didn't sleep. Meanwhile, Richard smiled. He read the newspapers every morning. He savored the fear he had planted the night before. The mistake. But even monsters make mistakes. In 1985, an abandoned car revealed a partial fingerprint. It was the first real clue. On August 31st, 1985, Richard's luck ended. A group of citizens recognized him in the street in Los Angeles. They chased him, they caught him, and they handed him over to the police. The trial of evil. When Richard appeared in court, the world saw his true face. Long hair, dark eyes, a twisted smile, and on his left hand, an inverted star drawn in ink. "Hail Satan!" he shouted before the cameras. People trembled. Was he a man? Or was he, as many thought, an embodiment of evil? The terror had ended, but the story was just beginning. The monster behind bars. San Quentin became his new home, but even behind bars, Richard remained a feared figure. His smile never disappeared. His eyes still showed that empty look, as if he enjoyed what he had done. The trial began in 1988 and lasted 3 years. Witnesses described chilling scenes. Survivors pointed at his face. The press filled headlines with every word he spoke. When the jury found him guilty of multiple crimes, Richard showed no remorse. He only said one disturbing phrase: "See you in Disneyland." The sentence. On November 7, 1989, Richard Ramírez was sentenced to death. But that day would never come. While justice waited, Richard became something else, a macabre legend, a dark idol. From prison, he received hundreds of letters. Women from around the world wrote to him. Some sent photos, others confessed eternal love. In 1996, he even married a journalist inside San Quentin prison. The unexpected end. Richard Ramírez spent over 2 decades behind bars. He never reached the gas chamber. In 2013, his life ended in an unexpected way: cancer. He died at 53 years old in a prison hospital. It wasn't justice that stopped him. It was his own body. And yet, his death brought no peace. Because the fear he spread still lives in the memory of those who survived, and in the nightmares of those who still remember that summer of '85. The legacy of horror. Richard Ramírez was not just a criminal. He was a symbol of fear, a figure who turned night into a synonym of terror. What makes his story most disturbing is not only his crimes, but what he represented. The idea that evil can walk among us, disguised as a man, silently lurking. Richard Ramírez, the Night Stalker. Evil never sleeps.